It's Larry with 7 Sage Law School Prep and another stick figure exam tip. This one is on extracurriculars in law school. And here's what I have to say about doing extracurricular activities in law school. What? Are you 15 years old and trying to resume pack to get into Bryn Mawr? Do not do extracurriculars in law school. Avoid extracurriculars in law school. I mean, my God. I record a bunch of videos, half of which tell you ways to avoid spinning your wheels and wasting time on things, even assignments that professors give you that distract you from the three things that you really have to do. Master the law, master issue spotting, and master your professor. The more time you spend on anything that is not one of these three things, the less likely it is that you'll be able to get excellent grades in law school. Do note that I don't include sleep or socializing or whatever kind of religious practice you have as an extracurricular. Those are important parts of your life that you really shouldn't be giving up in law school. But what I'm talking about is this tendency that people have starting in high school, then in college, to pack their resumes. You know, you want to be impressive. You want to be like the kid in Rushmore who is the head of like 20 clubs, including beekeepers and RC and go-kart and all this kind of crap. But the bottom line is, nobody cares. I'm telling you this because I've had years and years of experience as a law clerk receiving hundreds of applications and as a big law firm associate receiving hundreds of applications and as a small law firm person receiving still lots of applications. Not once has an extracurricular really been the difference between whether or not I pull a resume out of the pile or not. The things that matter are the name of your law school and your grades. Clubs and activities can't save you from mediocre grades. So don't pack your resume full of stuff because it eats up the time that you need to get grades, and grades are the one thing that really matter to people at law firms and with federal judges or state judges who will be looking at you for clerkships. Somewhat unlike college and probably life more generally, the only thing that matters is grade. It's surprising that these credentials that shouldn't matter, say 10 years out of law school, people still care where you went to law school and what kind of grades you got. There are a couple of exceptions, and almost none of these apply to you as a 1L. So here are the three exceptions. The first is law review, which in any case is a 2L activity only. You will only know if you made law review after you finished your second semester of 1L year. And to a great extent, whether or not you get on law review is based on grades. To a lesser extent, you get on based on a writing competition or certain diversity criteria. But I think, and this might be controversial, that no other law journal is really that important. If you happen to be on International Law Journal or something else like that, only for the sake of its resume appeal, it's a big mistake. Those things are a waste of time. And in fact, law review is a giant waste of time, except for the fact that people look for that as a real mark of distinction along with high grades on your resume. There are two other things that you might do in law school. The second is to become a teaching assistant or a research assistant to no one uses this phrase, a feeder professor, and that's a crappy bow tie. Some professors have a certain weight. They're perhaps the professors who have a name, even amongst the people who don't go to law school, like if your parents didn't go to law school, they've heard of Alan Dershowitz at Harvard Law School. Maybe these days with internet stuff, people have heard of Larry Lessig at Harvard Law or some other people, Tim Wu at Columbia. But there are professors who perhaps the outside world hasn't heard of, who provide you entree, who actually provide you access to other jobs. The big one is clerkships. Some professors are just really well connected to high-ranking federal judges, another kind of prestigious job you can get after law school, whatever it is that you choose to do after that. There's some skill in getting to know who those professors are, but if you get a chance to work for them, during this semester, if you can keep up your other work and do a really great job for the professor, this can be a huge deal. I can tell you that in my case, even though I had top grades, I was Order of the Coif, I was a law review, but I was a teaching assistant to a couple of professors who were not helpful, and I was even a research assistant to one who was not helpful, even though he was famous in the area of international law. My third year, finally, all sorts of doors started to open because I was a teaching assistant for a very famous and important international law professor who's now passed, unfortunately. So this is a huge thing. This is more likely to happen over the summer after 1L year or during your 2L or 3L year. So this is still something you might not have to worry about until you've gotten really good grades 1L year. The last thing is, I hate to be so cynical. A lot of this course may seem cynical to some of you, but if there's a reason you went to law school, other than, say, making money, something that you're passionate about, something that you did perhaps before law school, maybe human rights or public defense work or something else, go ahead and do that. I would limit it to just one activity. Too many people come to law school and lose the thing that made them want to go to law school in the first place. If you can maintain that during 1L year and you can still follow this triumvirate of things that you absolutely have to do, more power to you. Otherwise, skip it.